Oh my God. What have we done here? Huh? All right. Well, you can see, I practice what I preach. Yeah. Wear the safety glasses, the dust mask, ear protection. Uh, this is the truck bed. It's a early 70s, about 72, 73, 74 Dodge D100 long bed frame that was made into a trailer. Buddy of mine, let me pull it out of the woods on his property, and I was able to get the rear axle housing, which is a truck 8 3/4 axle housing. I'll tell you what, let me get this mask off because I feel like get my ear muffs off. Anyway, yeah, I'm talking kind of funny because of this dust mask. Okay, that's better. Okay, now, all right, so yeah, this is the truck that the 8 3/4 housing came out of. That's in my D150 right now. So, and might add, it was a straight direct bolt in. Okay, no fabrication necessary. So that was pretty nice, and that's why I bought it. That's why I got it. Actually, he gave me the housing, which is wonderful of him. His father made this into a trailer ages and ages and ages ago, long before this would have had any real value at all as a truck, as something collectible or to be restored or something. But he made a trailer out of it. He welded on this A-frame that I've cut off. It was sitting right here. Get the jack stand out of the way. Not, let's see. Okay, see right there? So see, I cut it off because he wants, my buddy, he wants this. He wants that back. He also wants the center section out of that rear end back, which I'm going to take those back to him. Not today, but soon, very soon. And I may make a video about that because he's got some pretty cool Mopars. And if he's okay with me making a video, we may get to see him. But enough of that. So, thank you. Truly, thank you so much. We're up above, we're almost at 1,000. Last time I checked, we were at 1,169 subscribers. It's truly amazing. I am just awestruck that you all are that into what I'm doing. But there's several good lessons to be learned right here on this trailer. So let's get busy. But thank you. Really, truly do thank you. So, right here, you can see I've been cutting right here. You can see the rust is, you can see right there's where I cut. You can see the rust is pretty detrimental. I mean, it has really just chewed this thing up like nobody's business. This side, this bedside, this right here is all that's holding it on. There was not much. I cut the front bulkhead off. That's the front plate that goes between the cab and the interior of the bed here. As you can see, the bed floor pretty much all gone. So here's this bulkhead. I call it a bulkhead. There may be a more correct terminology. If there is, feel free to comment down below. You know, but right there it is, and it's pretty nice. I mean, yes, there's a dent here, but it's not beat to hell. I mean, a lot of this, you know, this panel is beat to death. So this is pretty nice. This is a pretty nice panel, and I may be using this for something else. Who knows? Okay, I've got plans for that. This fender, inner fender, if you look, I mean, yeah, right here it's chewed up, and I get it. But you know, you can see the rest of it is pretty nice. And I mean, yeah, you could probably buy something, reproduction from somebody, but it was probably made in China, and it's probably going to have all kinds of issues fitting. Whereas you could get something like this, and this doesn't have any of those issues at all. But you can see how this is made, how this is put together. They actually have two, maybe three different panels all coming together right here and being pinch welded all the way through here on this lip. So there's a bunch of pinch welds. Now, what am I going to do with these bedsides? I'm not entirely certain. But as you can see, you know, there's some stuff here to learn from. And like, look at this. See, this is how these rivets retain this spring hanger. Now this spring hanger, I wouldn't use it. I mean, it's pitted pretty bad. I mean, I guess I could if I had to, if there was nothing else left, if I didn't have anything else. But I don't know. Honestly, it's not that great. The spring's kind of the same thing. You start relying on them, it's really risky. You may have more than one, you know, sure, you may have just one leaf break somewhere and you'll be okay, but what if you have two or three break on the same pack? You know, it could get really, really interesting very fast, and not in a good way either. So, anyway, you can see how this thing is constructed. And you can see why the industry went from the bolted together step side beds to these. I mean, this thing is 50 years old and now it's rusted out. Okay, if this was a step side bed, these would all be wood. This would be long gone, have to be replaced, probably have to be replaced 2 or 3 times. But in this case, no, the metal held up for at least, 20 or so years. And but this also too illustrates why it's important to clean your bed out every so often. Don't let a lot of crap lay back there and get wet, and because it's not a good thing. Not a good thing at all. Because these are just constructed out of sheet metal. Now they're all bent and folded and welded together, and so it makes everything pretty strong. But at the same time, rust is your enemy here, and it will absolutely, utterly destroy one of these things. Oh, I am up for maybe possibly selling these bedsides. Not that they're worth a hell of a lot of money, but I do have this little piece here. I'd be up for selling this here because I do not have a truck that uses one of these. But again, this wouldn't be very expensive. I would sell that dirt cheap. I've had a few requests to sell some stuff, but it's like every time somebody requests something, it's always stuff that I want to keep. So as you can see, the floor, the bed floor is just, the rust has just demolished it. Like I said, this thing was sitting in the woods for a long time too. And they had a piece of plywood in there, a 4x8 sheet of plywood that was covering it probably was a 4x8 sheet at one time, but there's what's left of it. There's some of it in the bed of that truck there. But there's another little lesson here to be learned. And here we go. Get over here. I'm cutting this up with this sawzall here. And I thought I'd stop here and give y'all a little lesson on how to do this with the sawzall, or reciprocating saw. Yeah, okay. So anyway, when you're trying to do this, try to move like this heavy piece of material, try to move it out of the way so it's not pinching the blade, okay? Because if it is, it's going to like pinch on it. It's going to make the saw want to kick back, and You could even get hurt sometimes. So don't do that. Make sure. I mean, even if you don't have anybody to help you, just get something to prop this thing up. But I just folded this sucker over. That side over there, I cut it right there near the fender well too, and then up there at the bulkhead section, and it just came right off. So this is just an example of what rust can do for you. But let me get this off, and I'll show you a little bit more about this frame and why it's interesting. Okay, y'all, I'm back. I've done the cutting, and now I think. Oh, I got some wires hanging me up. All right. How about that? Okay. Now we get a much better look at several things. Okay. Get some stuff out of the way here. Okay, I'm back. Now here is what I want you all. Here's what I hope you all are getting out of this. Okay. Now some people might think that truck frames are built straight. They're not. They have a lot of curves in them. As you can see, this one has a kick up right there for the rear axle. When the rear axle moves up and down in its suspension travel, it has to have that clearance right there. Okay? So that's what that's for. That's what that hump is for. Now, as you can see though, the way you can see right here, the way these bed supports are made, like this one is really thin or smaller, not as deep. This one is much deeper. That one is pretty much the same as that one as far as depth is concerned. This one is very similar to this one. But as you can see, this one has this extension on it right there. See, right there, that extension. That extension drops that down to the frame because the frame drops down even more so, okay, than it does back here. The frame kind of kicks up back here and stays up. So this forward portion of the frame here is a little bit lower than the back portion, which works out really well because you got to mount your leaf springs back here, your leaf spring shackle, here's your leaf spring eye or your leaf spring mount hanger. Okay, then we come up here, it's kind of straight right here. Okay, but then we come up here because like right here is where the bed ends, right in this, right about here. Okay, that bulkhead panel was right there, so it ends right there. So we've got these mount brackets here for the cab. The back of the cab mounts to this. So that being said, This is where the cab starts on the truck. And if you look right here, this is on a downward slope. So this has been cut. No, actually, well, yeah, I mean, I cut it right there. But this has been cut downward like that. Not literally cut, but it's been bent, at the factory to slope like that for the drop down center section of the frame for the cab. Okay? Now, this cross member is made in such a way to clear the drive shaft. Okay? So as the drive shaft, the transmission mounts in this neighborhood right here. Okay? So the drive shaft would be right here, and it would be cycling up and down as the suspension cycles up and down. Okay? So, we've got a lot here we can learn from. And you might be asking yourself, why in the hell are you bothering with this piece of crap? Even making a video about it? Well, there's lessons to be learned here. Okay? Now, one of those lessons is frame strength. Everything has a limit. Everything has a breaking point. Now, you might think to yourself that a box frame is stronger. You'd be right. You would be absolutely right. However, there is one little downside to a box frame. They can sometimes have problems staying rust-free. This C channel right here, so named because it looks like, see right there, it looks like the letter C. Okay? C over here. So, now, the thing is the frame, as moisture, rain comes in here, it washes out any dirt or particles that build up in there. That's why they will say sometimes you'll see in brochures for the trucks, for certain trucks, and they'll say, yeah, it has a self-cleaning frame, That's what they're talking about. And I mean, to some extent, it actually does. Now, this is not like self-cleaning in the fact that, there's like little sprayers down here with, or something like that is spraying water or some sort of cleaning solution and clean out the frame. But, so we got another cross member right here back towards the very back. This would be a cross member they probably would have had where the spare tire would be mounted up against. So, but again, it's also a good place it's also, if you notice, it's right in line with the bracket for the leaf spring shackle. So, a lot here to learn. You can see why, at least I can see why they went to, a fully welded truck bed box, because you have several structure pieces coming together, welded together, which can be welded together in just minutes. I mean, you've probably got that bed when it was new was probably welded together in probably less than 5 minutes. They were probably able to just weld it together pretty quick, crank it out, do another one, do that all day long. I mean, you can see some of the pinch welding that goes on right here, and I mean, it's pretty amazing. I mean, how vehicles are built and put together and everything. It's just really interesting. So anyway, all right, so I thought I'd show you this, show you what I'm working on. Okay. All right, I appreciate you all watching. I hope you get something out of this. Hope you're able to learn something from this. So thank you so much. And if you have any questions about this or any other videos, you know what to do. Comment down below, and I'll do my very best to answer your questions, okay? Thank you very much. God bless. Oh, and thank you so much for all the shares and likes and the subscribes and the thumbs ups and everything. I really do seriously appreciate it. And thank you. Have a great one.